Hi everyone, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is Friday, April 30th, and I'm doing a check-in because we're at the end of April, and May has a lot ahead of us, and we are entering eclipse season, which means it's a heightened sense of activity, a lot of major beginnings and endings when we are in eclipse period. And in the month of May, we have a lunar eclipse. There's a total lunar eclipse on May 26th at 5 degrees and 26 minutes of the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius. So that in itself will bring a lot of information and a lot of activity in the month of May. But we're also experiencing two planetary retrogrades. Saturn will retrograde on May 23rd at 13 degrees of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And on May 29th, Mercury will station retrograde at 24 degrees and 43 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. And we are going to be in Gemini season, and in the month of June there will be a solar eclipse on June 10th at 19 degrees of Gemini. So a lot of focus around communication. Jupiter actually changes signs in the middle of May on May 13th and enters the mutable water sign of Pisces, where it will be until July 29th. And that's a big deal in and of itself. So we have two planetary retrogrades. We have a huge planetary change with Jupiter actually changing signs in the middle of the year and going as far as 2 degrees of Pisces. It will retrograde on June 20th. And Mercury is going to enter the sign of Gemini on May 3rd, where it will be until July 11th. And that's a big deal for all of us because Mercury loves being a Gemini. It's in the mutable air sign that it rules in astrology. Mercury rules Gemini, and it also rules the earth sign of Virgo. So Mercury loves being in its dignity. It brings a lot of decisions and choices and communication of all forms. It's excellent for getting involved in your local community, for taking classes, for marketing yourself, for teaching and learning. But with Mercury retrograde, realistically, and with Mercury being in Gemini for over 2 months, a lot of opportunity to reassess and analyze what you need to improve with your marketing, with your communication. It could bring up distant memories from the past because Mercury does rule our early childhood. It could be old friends or old lovers or co-workers, people from many different areas and time periods of your life. And on May 3rd, early in the day, Mercury squares Jupiter. It will still be in the sign of Taurus, and it squares Jupiter at 10:33 a.m. Eastern, 5:33 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then on that same date, the Sun squares Saturn. The Sun is in Taurus, squaring Saturn in Aquarius at 6:02 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's a reality check for all of us on how we can structure and anchor ourselves now that Mercury will enter Gemini later in the day at 10:49 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will transit until July 11th. It's a long time to have Mercury in Gemini, and it's an excellent opportunity, again, for learning and communicating and networking and brushing up on areas that you need to brush up on, whether it's with school or work or taking workshops and webinars. Excellent for getting out there again as things normalize more and more and getting involved in healing the local community. Jupiter entering Pisces is going to be a very magical and beautiful transition for all of us because I really feel it's very healing with empathy and compassion for all of us in this new age of Aquarius, but it's also really focused on the artists and musicians and writers and performers that have lost their venues and are temporarily at an impasse. And right now, with Jupiter entering Pisces for a few months, this is also a very magical push from the universe to help us to unify. We're in a very divided world and time. We're all reconciling, going through a massive Pluto transit that changed the world. So we're all functioning under some form of PTSD, and Jupiter in Pisces unifies through love and creativity. And one of the greatest ways to unify people is music. And I'm hoping that brings a real creative and magical renaissance, with Aquarius emphasizing community and Pisces emphasizing creativity, magic, and love. So on May 2nd, over the weekend, we're going to have Mercury trining Pluto, and that's really good for getting to the bottom of things, for doing healing work, and for doing research. On Monday, May 3rd is the big deal. We've got Mercury squaring Jupiter, giving us a preview of all of the access that Mercury in Gemini provides, because communication will be in every which way, in good and bad ways. It could be too much chatter at times, but it's going to be a lot of communication. The Sun square Saturn, getting real on what you need to learn, how you need to market, how you need to connect with others. And on May 8th, Venus is going to square Jupiter early in the day. Those are the two benefics of the zodiac. And then Venus will enter the mutable air sign of Gemini, where it will be until June 2nd. So a lot of focus on Gemini in this month, a lot of networking and communication. And on May 6th, we've got Venus forming a beautiful trine to Pluto, and that's a really healing day, because recently, last weekend, we had the build up to the Pluto station and to that very intense full moon in Scorpio. And both Venus and Mercury, while transiting in the fixed Earth sign of Taurus, they both clashed with Saturn, bringing a reality check of the lack in each of us, what we feel is the lack, what we want to expand in our lives, and how we can improve and build that story. Now, Sun meets up with Uranus today, as Venus and Mercury did on the previous week, and the Sun squares Saturn on Monday. There's the innovation and limitless opportunity with Aquarius, but there are the boundary checks we all have to realize and reconcile in the real world, and that's what we're all learning in the new age of Aquarius. Wish you good luck getting to a lot of communication. I'm excited about Jupiter entering Pisces, and take care and thanks. Bye-bye.